Okay, so sorry about that. We're gonna try to continue. I hope that everyone could get back on. Okay. So in Tanya, we always speak about the 10 spheres. We say that there's 3 intellectual ones and 7 emotional ones. But on top of all of that, what's greater than all of it is something called Keser. We haven't really touched upon that too much. Keser represents Hashem's deepest desire, represents Hashem's will. And Keser is equivalent, the gematria of Keser is 620, which represents 613 mitzvahs plus the 7 mitzvahs derabanan. So here I said Keser is a crown. A crown goes on top of everything. So we see from here that the will, a person's will, is really reflects on who they really are, their essence, their deepest, the deepest part of themselves. And what happened on Har Sinai, when Hashem revealed himself to the Yidden, what does it mean that Hashem revealed himself? It means that he told us, he told us what his deepest desire is, which are the 613 mitzvahs and the 7 mitzvahs of derabanan. Okay. So this is Hashem's desire, that his essence should be revealed in the place of the greatest concealment, where he hides himself. Okay. So in chapter 35 and chapter 36, we're just to summarize, we're having a philosophical discussion, and we're asking what is the point of the avodah of the Beinoni. In chapter 35, we gave comfort to the Beinoni. We said you're fulfilling your mission 100%, because the main thing is the action. The main thing is elevating the physical, and so don't underestimate the value of your avodah. And here in chapter 36, what the Alter Rebbe is saying is that from Hashem's perspective, the only way that we could give Hashem his deepest desire is through the avodah of the Beinoni. Not so much the avodah the avodah of the Beinoni. This is the way that we could fulfill Hashem's deepest desire of a dir v'tachtainim in this world. The tzaddik is busy learning Torah all day. He's separate from the world. But the Beinoni who goes to work and is involved in the world, he should know that not only is his avodah worthwhile, but in chapter 36 we learn that only through this avodah of making a dir v'tachtainim, of elevating the physical and revealing Hashem's essence in this dark, concealed world, this is the only way that we can fulfill Hashem's most deepest desire. Hashem's deepest desire can only be fulfilled through action. And how does this action come about? That we're going to speak about in the next parak, chapter 37. So up until here is the Tanya. Now we're going to talk for a few minutes and connect it to the parsha. This week's parsha is Parshas Lecha. What happens? Hashem tells Moshe, Lech lecha me'artzecha, me'ladcha be'savicha le'eretz asher areka. Leave your land, leave your father's house, and go to the place that I will show you. And Hashem promises him that he's going to reward him. And he's God, Lashimcha, I'm going to make your name great. And Hashem promises him lots of brachos, and part of the brachas that Hashem is benching him with was Pasha Begashmius. He would become great and he would become very wealthy. This is what Hashem promised him. Then, so he leaves, he comes to Eretz Yisrael, and there's a famine. There's no food. So he goes with Sarah to Mitzrayim, and he says to Sarah, he notices that she's so beautiful, and he says, do me a favor. When the Egyptians see you, please say that you are my sister, so that I may be treated well for your sake. So basically, if he would come to Mitzrayim, when he would come to Mitzrayim with his wife, if the Mitzrayim were to know that Avraham was her husband, they would kill him, because even as immoral as they were, they would want her to be they would want to bring her to the king, and if she's already married, it would be a problem. So if they would kill him, they would kill her husband, then they'd feel like it would be okay for them to take Sarah and give her to the king because she was so beautiful. So Avraham says, say that you're my sister. If you say that you're my sister, then they're going to give me a lot of presents, a lot of money, and a lot of riches as a thank you, as a dowry for the fact that you're going to be taken to the king. So the $1 million question is that we know that Avram was such a great tzaddik, and Avram feared Hashem, and Avram loved Hashem. How could it be that at this time, when his wife's life is in danger, she was so holy, she's such a tzaddikis, this danger of being taken into the palace of the king? Why does he say, please say that you're my sister so that I may be treated well for your sake? And Rashi explains, what does it mean that I'm going to be treated well? I'm going to get a lot of presents and a lot of gifts because of you. How could Avraham be thinking about the presents and the gifts that he's going to get because of Sarah at a time when her life is pashut in danger? It's a very difficult it's a big difficulty. And the Zayar asks this. He says, was it possible that Avram, who feared sin and loved Hashem, could propose such a thing to his wife so that the Egyptians would treat him well? Say that you're my sister so that the Egyptians will treat me well. So the answer is that it was very, very clear to Avraham that because of okay, I'll just continue the Zayar first. Okay, the Zayar answers that Avraham did not rely upon his own merit and did not beseech the Holy One on account of his merit. Instead, Avram relied upon his wife's merit. Because of Sarah, Avram would acquire the wealth of other nations, for a person becomes wealthy in the merit of his wife. And the passage continues to explain how a person can acquire everything through a wise woman. And then the Zohar goes on to say, he relied upon her merit to protect her, so that they would be unable to punish him and mock her. Therefore, he lost nothing by saying she is my sister. Okay, so basically, what does the Zayar say? The Zayar says, first of all, he didn't rely upon his own merit. He relied upon Sarah's merit. And because of Sarah, he would become very wealthy. And then the Zayar ends off saying that it was clear to him that no harm would befall her um, um, because of her schusim. So we have a few questions. What's the main thing here? The main thing is that Sarah should be protected. So in the order of the Zayar, it seems the order seems that the order should be the other way around. First let the Zayar say that it was clear to Avram, that Avram knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that Sarah would be protected and nothing would happen to her because she was such a holy tzaddikus and she had so many schusim. And then talk about the wealth. Why is Avram speaking? Why does the Zayar first mention that because of Sarah he's going to be very wealthy, and then the end of the Sayar speaks about her protection, which should be the main concern, and the fact that it says that Avram didn't rely upon his own merit. How does that answer the question? Like, why is that even there? Okay, so what's the answer? When Hashem said Lech Lecha, go for yourself, Hashem is telling him that he is going to get. Did Avram really care about the riches, about the wealth? A lot more than what is the deeper explanation to that? So the wealth represents spiritual wealth. Hashem is promising him that he is going to reach higher spiritual levels. How? By refining and elevating the sparks of holiness in the physical things. So the more riches that Avram gets, the more animals, the more gold and silver that Avram acquires, the more he is able to reveal the sparks of holiness in these things for Hashem. So this is what we're talking about in the Tanya. In Tanya, we said that the main thing is to make a dir b'tachtainim, to elevate the sparks of holiness, to reveal that every single thing really is a creation of Hashem. And Avram began this Aveda. Avram was the first one to start this Aveda. So for Avram to acquire wealth means that he's able to reveal the godliness, reveal how this gold, this silver, these animals are being used for Hashem, and revealing Hashem's essence in this concealed world. And Avram was the one who began this Aveda. So Hashem is promising him physical wealth and telling him that he's going to be able to reach a higher level, which is that he's going to be able to elevate these sparks of holiness. Avram sees that once he goes to Israel and there's a famine there and there's no food and he has to go to Egypt, has to go down to Mitzrayim, he sees an opportunity here, the Alpi Derech HaTeva, according to nature, because when you're dealing with elevating sparks of holiness, it's got to be within nature. It's not so he sees an opportunity that through nature, if Sarah says that Abraham is her brother and she's the sister, then he sees it in a very natural way that how he could actually become very, very rich and elevate all these riches and use them to reveal Hashem's essence in this world. Okay. So so you could ask, why did Abraham take Sarah? He could have left her in a hotel right outside of Egypt or something. He knew how beautiful she was. Why endanger her life? Just why bring her in the first place? Go to Egypt, get some food and leave. Like what's going on here? But Abraham could not accomplish his mission without Sarah. He needed her, and he says Okay, so this is the question. I'm already saying the answer. The question is, how could Avram worry about his spiritual greatness on the expense of Sarah having to be kidnapped and taken against her will to the palace? How could Avram be thinking about his spiritual gain when Sarah is in such a predicament? And Avram should have relied on Hashem, that Hashem could provide and give him food and take care of him in a different way, without Sarah having to descend to such a to be taken by the king. So this is why the Zayar says that a person becomes wealthy in the merit of his wife. Avram's going, as I said, for Avram going down to Egypt by himself, he would not be able to accomplish his mission. He would not be able to do this on his own. It was in her merit. In her merit, he would become wealthy, and he wasn't worried about her because he was 100% sure that they would not be able to harm him, and it would not cause a descent for Sarah. What does this have to do with us? So basically, what we're saying is, in short, is that there's Avram and Sarah. Avram goes to Mitzrayim with Sarah. How could he do this? He knew no harm would come to her because she was so great, and he saw a natural way of how Hashem's promise could be fulfilled, and how he could acquire a lot of riches, begashmis and baruchnis, etc. But what does this have to do with me and you? What's the deeper? What's going on here beyond the surface? So, what are we talking about? Avraham represents the neshama, and Sarah represents the guf. And the neshama needs the guf. The neshama cannot accomplish what it needs to accomplish without the guf. It needs the guf to come down into this physical world, into this dark gullus, in order to accomplish what it needs to accomplish. So only through the neshama, our neshama, coming into our physical body, only through Avram coming to Mitzrayim with Sarah, does the neshama gain so much. Because the neshama on its own can't elevate sparks of holiness. The neshama is spiritual. It can't do a mitzvah. The action mitzvahs that we spoke about in Tanya, which is the most important, the dir of tachtainim. How does that happen? That happens through Sarah. So there's a huge maila that Avram gains through Sarah. The neshama gains so much through coming down into a body. And the neshama knows, Avram knows that because the neshama is coming down into a body in order to make a dir of tachtainim for Hashem, the neshama is certain, 100% certain, that ultimately it will not be a descent for Sarah, for the guf, because when we're focused on fulfilling Hashem's deepest desire, no harm will befall us. So now we have another question. Before we get to the question, we're gonna speak about. Okay, so the next question is like this. Okay, so we just said how wonderful it is that Avram had a wife, Sarah, and because of his wife, Sarah, he was able to gain all these gifts and elevate the sparks of holiness. And because of Sarah, he was able to fulfill his mission, the neshama using the guf, etc. This is beautiful. But the question is, if the whole way that Avram became so successful is because of his wife, then why does he tell her, say that you're my sister? The whole advantage, everything that he got was because Sarah was his wife. So why is he saying, tell me that you're my sister? So the Rebbe explains that in our relationship with Hashem, before that in general, in relationships, there are many different kinds of relationships. There's a relationship between a husband and a wife. There's a relationship between a brother and a sister. What's the difference? The relationship between a brother and sister is natural, even though they fight a lot, but ultimately, a brother and a sister are the same blood, same family. There's a brother and a sister can never divorce each other. They're naturally connected. And it's compared to water. It's a more calm relationship. It's a natural relationship. It's part of our DNA. Then there's another kind of relationship, and that is between a husband and a wife. That relationship is compared to a fire. It's a lot more passionate. And it's not natural. It's not natural in the same way that of a relationship between a brother and a sister. A husband and wife could be very different from each other, and sometimes chas v'shalom, there could even be a divorce. So there's no guarantee that a brother and a sister are always going to be connected. A husband and a wife is a different dynamic. It's on one hand, it's greater because a brother and a sister don't become one. A husband and a wife do become one. On the other hand, a brother and a sister is everlasting, and a husband and a wife hopefully is everlasting, but there is a possibility for there to be distance. There's times that they're closer, sometimes they're more further apart, and both of these relationships we have with Hashem. The brother and sister relationship, that is a relationship of a tzaddik and Hashem. It's natural. We're all born with a love for Hashem, a fear of Hashem. But then there's the husband and wife relationship. That relationship is the Beinoni. That's the effort. That's the work. That's the relationship where it's like a dance, closer and further away, and it's much more fiery and much more passionate. The relationship between a husband and a wife, we said that it's not natural. It takes a lot of effort. First of all, it takes a lot of effort to even find the right one. The dating process until you find the other half of your neshama. And even after you find the other half of the neshama, marriage, every single day of the marriage is work, because you're so different. You come from different backgrounds. You were brought up differently. You have, hopefully you have the same values, but but there's so many, there's, you can't compare a sibling and a spouse. The spouse relationship, on one hand, you become one, but it takes a lot of effort. You have to discover each other, find and learn about each other, and there's so much work involved. And that is the relationship, the relationship, a husband and wife relationship that we have with Hashem. Also, it's the Beinoni, it's the effort, it's the discovering, it's the revealing, it's finding, understanding, figuring out what the deepest desire of your spouse is, and that is the avodah of action, of dir b'tachtonim. That's the husband and wife relationship. So in order for the neshama, in order for Avraham to fulfill his mission, he needs Sarah. He needs his wife. The wife is the main relationship here that we're focusing on. The relationship of revealing Hashem, of the effort of finding finding our spouse, finding Hashem. That's the main thing. But at the same time, Avram says to Sarah, tell them that you're my sister. Because at the same time where we have this husband-wife relationship with Hashem, we also have to have this brother-sister relationship with Hashem, which means that the guf, the body, has to know and has to appreciate the neshama. So it's a two-way street. Yes, yes, Avram needs Sarah in order to get the riches. He needs his wife, but also Sarah also has to recognize the value of the neshama. We need both. Yes, action is most important, but the body on its own also it's not going to work. The body needs a guiding light. The body needs direction. The body needs the Torah. The body needs a neshama in order to do the right thing. Okay. So to explain this very simply is the Avram and the neshama represents Chachma, and Sarah, the guf, represents Bina, the mother. Avram is the father, and Sarah is the mother. So in a husband-wife relationship, a father and a mother, what happens? The father gives his tiny contribution, and then a baby is conceived, and then for 9 months, the baby develops in the womb of the mother. So, and then what's the result? The result is that the father, the man, ends up gaining so much that he actually becomes a father. He just gave a small contribution, and then he ends up 9 months later that he becomes a parent. So the same is true in our relationship with Hashem. Bina, the mother, Sarah, the guf, needs its source is higher than Chachma. The source of the guf is even higher than Neshama. The source of Sarah is even higher than Abraham. But the Sarah needs Abraham. The woman needs the man. The Bina needs the Chachma. The Bina needs to appreciate and take direction from the Neshama, get a little bit from the Neshama, and then once it gets something from the neshama and it follows the directive of the neshama, then it's able to give back so much more. The neshama is able to reach the greatest heights because of the guf, but only after the neshama gave its contribution, that the guf appreciates the neshama, that the guf takes direction from the neshama, and then the guf is able to give the neshama the such a great elevation. So the bina gets through the bina, through Sarah, the Avraham or the Chachma gets a great elevation. Okay, this is basically, there's a story in the Gemara, but this is basically the gist of the this is basically the gist of the Sicha. So basically, it's a partnership. We have a partnership here of the neshama and the guf. The neshama, the soul, refines the body. The neshama gives a direction. The neshama is the guiding light. And when the neshama takes the guiding light, takes the Torah, and then goes and with the guiding light of the Torah goes and refines this world. This is how we ultimately bring Mashiach and give Hashem his deepest desire, which is what we spoke about in Tanya, and maybe merit the coming of Mashiach immediately. So basically, the main thing is the action. The main thing is to make a dir b'tachtainim. Why? Because this is the reason why Hashem created the world in the first place. This is why Hashem created this lowest world. All because he wanted to have a dwelling place in this concealed world. But how do we know what to do? How do we know what to do? How do we know what was right from wrong? And that is through Torah, through the neshama. We have to hold on to Torah, and that is that through the guiding light of Torah. That is how we know what to do, which is the most important thing, which ultimately elevates us and elevates the world and brings Mashiach.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Amazing.
Hashem.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, pleasure. So Mirz Hashem, we should meet in Yerushalayim, and we should hear good news.
Amen.
Yeah. Any questions? Any comments?
No, it was beautiful. It was very clear.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. I would much rather in person, but we did the best we could.
Amazing.
Yeah. So thanks for hanging in on with the Zoom and everything. But Baruch Hashem, we were able to learn a little. So that's why it's amazing how with everything that's going on, that the comfort and the healing is the more we learn that's the Torah is what we're holding on to for dear life to keep us going. It's incredible how how we see time and again, story after story, how the whole house, people's homes were completely destroyed, and the only thing that was left, that wasn't touched, that was everything, that was the tefillin. It's incredible that we see. There's another story that I heard. This woman, the terrorists are in her house, and she's like, Hashem, only you can say, the terrorists are outside her house. And she's standing there with her children, and she's talking to Hashem, and she said, Hashem, I promise I'm going to start keeping Shabbos, and I'm going to make Shabbos holy. And the terrorists, they skipped her house. They skipped her house, and her and her family was saved. And then the next Shabbos, she was actually keeping Shabbos. She was in Sderot, and a missile went right through the house where she was staying, and nothing happened to her. They weren't harmed. So we see that Torah mitzvahs, it's our protection, it's our guiding light, and this is what we're holding on to in these last darkest moments of Galus, when we're adding so much light, and we're united, and we're doing so much good things, which is incredible. But it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing to have these Torah lessons to hold on to explain to us that yes, there's concealment, but it's not because Hashem is not here. It's because Hashem is giving us the last in this last instance of Galus, the opportunity to make his deepest dream come true, that we're doing that the more they try to hurt us, the more light we're bringing, the more united we are, the more we're doing. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here, and we should see the Gula right now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good Nacht. Thank you so much. Okay.